there's a story I have told quite a few times in the last decade of being at a bank, and the CEO basically looked at me and said, "I will know that you are successful in your role as chief data officer when person X over here was a senior executive who'd been with the bank for more than 30 years." And he said, when person X goes against 30 years of experience with these large corporate customers and goes against his received wisdom and instead trusts a piece of data and a report that we gave him and makes a decision different than what he would have been inclined to make otherwise.
Right.
Great. Always stuck with me as, okay, this is what
Mhm.
I actually have to accomplish. So
Right.
it's interesting because I think there's a couple of things implicit in that when you break it apart. I mean, one is just you have to build trustworthy data and trustworthy analytics. And so a lot of components of the data strategy are addressing how do you make sure that the data is trustworthy, that the analytics are accurate and trustworthy, because you can't ask someone to trust slapdash analytics.
Right.
So that's on the data team to create the right analytics and the right data. But the interesting flip side is there's a human factor too, which I think is what you've run into many times in your life, right? How do you get the people to think differently about the value of data?
Mhm. Yeah, well, I think half what we do is psychology, honestly, at the end of the day. I think so much of what, yeah, we're engineers, but convincing people to use all this information and look at it objectively or differently it is psychology. And I have a very similar story to you. Was working with somebody for a long time who 30 years of experience as a bond salesman, knew everything about his customers. And until the day he showed up and, proceeded to tell everybody he was wrong and that he had adopted everything that we had done because he realized that there was enormous value. And it was an eye-opening event for me. But I think that was the inflection point to the organization becoming far more data empirical driven than it was in the past.